so we're gonna read a quick story, but before we do that, I wanted you to look at the pictures up on the board. Give you a minute to look at it.
Is that rice?
I want to tell you what anything is, and have you guys tell me what you think. So looking in from the top left, can any of y'all tell what it is? It's a tree.
An
Good.
orange tree?
What makes you think it's an orange tree?
Because the white colored leaves.
Yeah, you
Is
see
it a
bright colors on the
lemon tree?
leaves.
Yeah, I think
Or
it's a
lemon
lemon
tree?
tree because it has yellow dots.
Yeah.
Okay, what do y'all know about lemon trees?
That they're yellow.
Okay.
They produce a lot of lemons.
Yeah. Where have you seen them before?
Farms.
My grandpa used to have a lemon tree, but then he had to cut it down because little bugs that eat wood ate the tree.
Where is your grandpa's house?
It's in Mexico.
Okay, so now we know like lemon trees grow in other countries, right? So that's one thing to think of. And then the bread in the middle picture, do y'all recognize that?
It looks like a macaroon to me.
Looks like a macaroon.
Yeah.
I want a cheese.
Look at Alma.
It's actually, it's a stack of a lot of pieces of bread, if that helps you
Oh, like
see
pita?
it. Like pita. So what do you know about pita?
It's
He's a
not
character
from
in the Hunger
here.
Games.
Different spelling.
Is it piece
It's
of
I
bread
think it's from
from
Italy.
India
India, there we go.
or Greece?
It's more Middle Eastern,
Okay.
right? Yeah, India's more Asian and pita is more Middle Eastern. So, and then the last picture.
Rice.
Rice.
Different type of rice.
So,
Rice that grows around the roll.
so it's actually called lentils. Have you ever heard of a lentil?
I think I've heard of it.
I've heard of them.
I hate
It sounds like a
lentils.
loam. Lentil loam.
A lentil is a type of grain. It's kind of like a bean, and it's grown around the world too. So now that we've seen those three things, what do you think our story is going to be about?
Agricultural.
Farming.
Farming?
Like how
Cities.
How
like a bunch
society-
of people come
Agricultural-
together.
yeah,
to,
like,
how the
Oh.
society
All around
affects
the world
his life.
just meet in
His or her life.
How the agriculture affects their life. I think
How
you guys
the
have read a
society
lot of
has come
stories like this
together.
before. That's a pretty good guess. So I'm going to read to you from this story called City's Secret. And actually, I'm going to ask you guys to take turns and read with me. I'm just going to get started. So I have the pictures here, and you guys have the text version. But it's really important to look at the pictures as we read because they really help tell the story. My grandmother lives on the other side of the earth. When I have daylight, she has night. When our sky grows dark, the sun is peeking through her window and brushing the bright lemons on her lemon tree. I think about this when I am going to sleep. Your turn, I say. Between us are many miles of land and water. Between us are fish and cities and buses and fields. Reagan, do you mind reading?
Once I went to visit my grandmother. My grandmother and I do not speak the same language. We talked through my father as if he were a telephone, because he spoke both of our languages and could translate what we said.
Do you want to take over, Alice?
Oh, yeah. I called her City, which means grandma in Arabic. She calls me Hababi, which means darling. Her voice danced as high as whistles of birds. Her voice giggled and whooshed like wind going around corners. She had thousand rivers in her voice.
McKenna.
A few curls of dark hair peeked out from her scarf on one side, and a white curl peeked out on the other side. I wanted her to take off the scarf so I could see if her hair was striped.
Soon we had invented our own language together. City pointed at my stomach to ask if I was hungry. I pointed to the door to ask if she wanted to go outside. We walked to the fields to watch men picking lentils. We admired the sky with hums and claps.
We crossed the road to buy milk from a family that kept one spotted cow. I called the cow Habibi, then it winked at me. We thanked the cow with whistles and clicks for the fresh milk that we carried home in City's little teapot.
Every day I played with my cousins, Fauzi, Sammy, Hanny, and Hadida from the next door. We played marbles together in their courtyard. Their marbles were blue and green and spun through the dust like planets. We didn't need words to play marbles.
My grandmother lives on the other side of the earth. She eats cucumbers for breakfast with yogurt and bread. She bakes the big flat bread in a round, old oven next to her house. A fire burns in the middle.
She pats the dough between her hands and presses it out to bake on a flat black rock in the center of the oven. My father says she has been baking that bread for 100 years.
My grandmother and I sat under her lemon tree in the afternoons, drinking lemonade with mint in it. She liked me to pick bushes of mint for her. She liked to press her nose into the mint and sniff.
Some days we stuffed little zucchini squash with rice for dinner. We sang Habibi, Habibi as we stacked them in a pan. We cracked almonds and ate apricots called mishmish while we worked. I'll keep reading. One day Sadie took off her scarf and shook out her hair. She washed her hair in a tub right there under the sun. Her hair surprised me by being very long, and it was striped. She said it got that way all by itself. I helped her brush it out while it dried. She braided it and pinned the braid up before putting on the scarf again. I felt as if I knew a secret. In the evenings, we climbed the stairs to the roof of Sadie's house to look at the sky, smell the air, and take down the laundry. My grandmother likes to unpin the laundry in the evening so she can watch the women of the village walking back from the spring with jugs of water on their heads. She used to do that too. My father says the women don't really need to get water from the spring anymore, but they like to. It is something from the old days they don't want to forget. I'll let you guys finish reading the end on your own.